Dear student, if you are new to Varsity College and you are wondering where do I start, this video is for you. The first thing that I would like to give you information about is your campus. Remember, you are an online student and not a contact student. So when the contact students go to their campus, where you go for your campus is www.varsitycollege Varsity College .co.za. And this is very important because you need to log into your campus every day. That means you would then be accessing your campus and your classes, etc. every day. So let's go to the varsitycollege.co.za website, and I'm going to show you a couple of areas that you need to go to. The first thing I would like to direct you to is at the menu. If you go under faculties, you will see you will have to go to the School of Management Studies, and under there, you will find information regarding your faculty. And the most important thing that I need you to do there is to download the different fact sheets or the fact sheet that you need for your qualification. So let me use, for instance, Bachelor of Commerce in Entrepreneurship. You would click on distance. And then under there, you will see there it says download fact sheet. The reason why the fact sheet is important is because it gives you the qualification information. So for instance, if you are a first year in semester one, you're supposed to be doing these 3 modules, and maybe let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. And then semester 2, these are the qualifications or the modules that you will be doing. So let me write here that the first thing that you would need is the fact sheet. And what I'm going to do is, yes, just give me a second. Just want to do this, and then I'm going to update that to heading 1. So the fact sheet, like I said, is all of your qualification details, especially the modules that you will be doing per semester. So ensure that you keep this document with you for your entire qualification. So if you're here for 4 years, like you will see with the BCom entrepreneurship, it's spread out after in 4 years. So ensure that you are please sticking to these modules as they are designed in this particular way for your balance. Then after you've accessed the fact sheet, I can go ahead and close that. Let me accept these terms and conditions. Then you're going to go to current students, and under current students, you're going to go to my VC student intranet. And my VC student intranet, that's where you get everything because you are a Varsity College online student. The first place that we're going to go to is the scroll all the way down to your faculties. And under there, you're going to click on School of Management Studies. And please follow with me. I think that's one thing I did not say. If you can, in fact, you will be able to follow with me as I'm clicking. Also go ahead and look and do the same. So again, under the School of Management, because this video is especially for the School of Management students that belong to my portfolio, again, we're going to use the Bachelor of Entrepreneurship in Bachelor of Commerce in Entrepreneurship as our example. You would simply click on that faculty, click on distance because you're a distance student, and the 2 important documents that you need there is your academic calendar and your program assessment schedule. All right, so within the academic calendar, we're going to go academic calendar, which choose 2025 because that's the year that we are in, and we are looking for the bent distance academic calendar for 2025. You will see here, this one says second intake. This is not the one that pertains to you. If you are doing second semester in 2025, or if you start enrolling for your modules in second semester, then this one would pertain to you. So let's go ahead and download that. And if we look at it, you will see here that it's saying that the lecture start date was the 19th of February. The summatives, and this is for year 1, year 2, year 3, depending on the year that you're in, but it is literally in the same week. And then the summatives, which are your exams, the exams start on the 9th of June. End of first semester ends on the 27th of June. And then your vacation days as well as your supplementary days. And then it also lets you know when semester 2 is starting and the relevant days for the semester. So with the academic calendar, we can just say these are your semester dates. And then with regards to the program assessment schedule, we simply need to go back and click on BCom, yes, and then distance. And then this time we're looking for the program assessment schedule, yes, 2025. And you will see under there, we've got only one. Go ahead and download that, please. And if we click on the program assessment schedule, here we've got all your assessment dates. Assessment dates. So if you're wondering when is your assignment due, and most importantly, no one will communicate to you. You always need to check them for yourselves. And then another thing is that always ensure that you have the most latest updated program assessment schedule, latest uploaded program assessment schedule. It is so important to make sure of that. And I will show you why. So if you look at the current program assessment schedule that we've got right now, is there a way to minimize this? Nope. All right. So if I zoom in a little bit, you will see there, for instance, depending on the module that you're doing, let's say, for instance, you're doing ACBP 5121 amongst other modules, it's showing you that there's an ICE task that's required. You've got task 1, deferred task 1. So if you're not writing task 1, you're going to write the deferred, and then task 2 and the deferred. So task 1, 28th of May, task 2, the 2nd of May, etc. And it also shows you how it is that you're supposed to submit, or the instructions for the submission. And they're saying here for task 1, please note that these tasks have a time limit. The task will be made available for 24 hours from midnight to 1 minute before midnight of the submission date as per the PAS, and you need to submit on ARC and on Turnitin. And then if we look at other examples of other modules, if you look at BMAN 5121, for instance, here we've got 2 assignments that are being written, and all you have to do here is submit on ARC. Okay, and these submissions or assessments will be available way ahead of time. And I will still show you where to get those in this video. So if I'm just checking here, we've got the academic calendar, and then we've got the program assessment schedule. And then the next most important thing that you need, if we go back here, and let me just start closing some of these tabs. Again, back to your student intranet, we went down to go get our program assessment schedule at faculties, but now what we're going to do is under student resources, we're going to go to student material. So student material, and under student material, we're going to go to student materials. And then here we're going to search, you would need to search for the relevant module. So I'm going to write here, let me write here student material and make that heading 1 again. And then I'm going to say here, search for all your modules individually. So these documents you will have to get for each. So let's say get these documents for each module that you are enrolled in. Okay, so if we go and look at which documents these are, and let's say, again, we're sticking to entrepreneurship, let's do ENTR 5112, and make sure that when you do search, and I think it's a little bit different for the students because I think you would only have access to the module that you are doing, ensure that there is a W sign in your module. So let me write here, ensure that module code has the W. So example, ENTR 5112 with the W. The reason why the W, let me say the W equals distance. That means you are a distance student. Okay, so going back to the student material, we're going to go to 2025 term 1 because that is the first semester, and then you will see in here you've got the module outline and you've also got the different assessments. So here we've got the module outline and assessment, and these I'm going to make into heading 2. So let me update this to create heading 2, and then this will also be heading 2. So under the module outline, and let me make bullet points for these. So please make sure that you are downloading these documents as I am going along with you, like I said. So when we download all of these, let's start with the module outline, and we download. In the module outline, there are things that are important. This document, you need to understand it, read it, and understand it because it has all the information that pertains to your module. So in the module outline, we are going to look at it here, and I'm going to enable editing, and then I'm going to just close these. The most important page is the table of contents. And in the table of contents, what's important for me, for you guys, is your module resources, because these are the textbooks that you're going to be using for your modules. And then the assessments, because you are going to write assessments and you kind of need to know what's going on in there. And then another thing that's important is the module pacer. Now, the reason why that's important is because as you're going through the semester and you're doing different learning units, the module pacer is the one that lets you know which learning units are being done where. So let's start with the module resources. The module resources, they just let you know which textbook that you're going to be using for your module. And then if we go back and say assessments, let me see, is it possible to make this a heading just so that it appears? Just want to see what style this is, heading 1. And let me say, I'm going to do some creativity here. I'm going to make this into heading 2. And then I'm going to make this into heading 3, just so that it can appear in the document and then I don't have to scroll all the way. This is just for an example, okay? All right, so module resources, like I said, the module resources, here we've got the textbook. And then when we go to assessments, the assessment page is very important because, again, number one, with assessments, and let me do that, module resources. Assessment and the module pacer. These are the 3 documents that I think are important for you guys. If this is heading 2, then these need to be heading 3. Okay, so under module resources, that's your textbook, prescribed textbook. And then under your assessments is the weights, the different weights of your assignments. So again, going back to that page, you can see here, and please also look out for the W, if I can maybe make a note of that. Look out for the information under the W code. Again, if we go back to the W, what that means is that in the module outline, you can see it just says ENTR, right? 5112, what 5112, but then here it's got ENTR 5112 with the W, okay? And then here it's showing you that you're going to be writing assignment 1 and you're going to be writing assignment 2. And assignment 1 weighs 30% of your final module. And then assignment 2 is 25%. And then the exam is 35%. And the reason why this is important is so that you know how much weight to give everything. And then the reason why, again, the W is important, you will see here for context students, they're not going to write assignment 1, but they're going to rather write a take-home test. And then assignment 2 would be assignment. So in other words, when you're downloading the assignment, ensure that you are downloading the correct assignment. So ensure that you download the correct assignment. All right, and then we're going to look at the module PACER. And maybe let me take a screenshot of this and add it to my document for your own perusal. This is the different weightings, the assessment. Okay, so when we go to the module PACER, again, back to, no, that was not supposed to happen at all. Okay, how do you, okay, unpin this just so that I don't open it again. All right, back to the document. We're going to look at the module PACER, and then it's back to your module outline, and we're going to the module PACER, control, click. And like I was saying, the module PACER has the different learning units. And it also shows you, again, how many contact sessions you should be having. It says about 12, but you know that for online, your module will either be once every week or once every second week. So if it's once every week, it would be because it's a numeracy module, or if you're doing postgrad, and then once every second week if it's a theory module. So again, here with learning unit 1, it's showing you that you'll be doing it under academic 1 to 2, for instance, because again, I'm looking at the W and then the different the learning outcomes that you're supposed to know, and then chapters, the prescribed material for that learning unit. So if you again just go to learning unit 2, it gives you an overview of the learning unit, and then it also shows you when you're supposed to be doing the different learning outcomes. So in other words, these are the things that you're supposed to know after you've completed the learning unit. This is what you're supposed to know. And then again, the prescribed material that is relevant for those. So this one, I can just leave it there and just say under the module PACER, it's the learning units and different learning outcomes. Okay. And then we go to assessment. So back to your assessments, and let's just download assessment 1 or assignment 1, for instance. And then again, with your assignment, please ensure that you download correct assignment. So for instance, if you look at the different codes here for the different assignments, here it says A1, which stands for assignment 1. Here's A2, which stands for assignment 2. So if we look at assignment 1, for instance, again, we are looking at the W code. Please, again, the W code, and let me write there. W. Okay, to ensure that it is the right assignment. And then you would just read your instructions, for instance. And then here there's the referencing rubric. So please, how do I say this? Ensure that you are familiar with referencing. And I'm going to touch a little bit on that because so there's the referencing, what is it? Ensure that you've got the IIE, Harvard, Anglia reference reference guide, and I will also show you where it is that you can download this. So again, going back to the assignment, they've got the rubric here and then instructions on how to do assignment. But this I'm not going to go into much because your lecturer can do that for you. Once you're done with the assignment, so let's not save that, we're basically done under student materials. So what we're going to do is we're going to click back on entrepreneurship, again, go back to my VC student intranet, and then we're going to go see what else is relevant for you. All right, the next thing is maybe the IIE library, and let's start. Let's go there. IIE library. And we'll make that heading 1 again. So in the IIE library, there's so many things that you can refer to. Number 1 is the writing center. And that one is important because when you are a student, especially a new student, you might not know how to write academically. You might not know how to write your assignments. If you need help with that, please definitely refer to the Writing Center. And then the second thing that and maybe let me put a tab on this, and then just update it. Yes, then we can see it's the different headings. And then I'm also looking for assign heading 3. Is this heading 3? Yes, it's heading 3. I'm going to put 2 tabs on that. And then I'm going to update that heading as well. Yeah, yes. All right, so where was I? I was at the Writing Center. So again, if you need for academic writing, this is where you would go to the Writing Center. And then after that, you would go to the eShelf. And in the eShelf, you've got databases. And let me write that again, eShelf. In the eShelf, you've got databases. After databases, the most important thing is the referencing and plagiarism. And that is where you get the reference guide. So again, just to show you, if you click under referencing and plagiarism, you just need to scroll down. It explains to you what is plagiarism, and then it also shows you the IIE reference guide. If you click on that, it's the Harvard Anglia Style Reference Guide. Please note that this is the only referencing guide that we use for the IIE. This is the only referencing guide we use. So you cannot, for instance, if you look at your Word document, it's got here references, and you've got an option to reference here. Please make sure that even if you use this Harvard Anglia one, make sure that it looks like the IIE one, because there's some things that we find relevant as an institution that are maybe not covered in the typical IIE reference guide. Hence, sorry, the typical reference guide, hence ours is the IIE one. All right, so yeah, this information is very important for you to follow on. And then I think that's it for the library that I can cover. So I'm going to close all of these tabs again, and then we're going to go back to your student intranet. So we have basically covered student material. We've covered the IIE library. And then sometimes if you want past papers, you can go and visit that. For instance, if you passed papers, come exam time, this will be very important for you. So just remember that when you're going to write for your exams, preparation for your final exams or your summatives. You can come here and look at past papers, but actually, even if it's for tests, even if it's for your assignments, you can go and see what past papers there are there, just to make learning for you easy. Then what we're also going to look at is ARC, and that is your module on VC. So let's go. And this is probably the most important thing on your intranet. ARC is basically your classroom. So for all your modules, or let me say classrooms for all your modules. So remember, if you're a contact student, you're going to go to the different classes. If you are an online student, you are going to go to ARC for all your classroom needs. So just having a look at what we can see on ARC. For instance, if I go to the entrepreneurship module, and the reason why I refer this to a lot to this is because this is the module that I am currently lecturing. So the first important thing is that there's an academic integrity that you have to make sure that you complete. Please make sure that you read this. And it just shows you how to submit your assignments, what academic integrity is about, the eShelf that I talked about, or the IIE library, all of this information would be there. It shows you that you need to do Turnitin, and it shows you that, submitting identical work for multiple assessments is prohibited, and various other rules. So you can see, like for my students, there's an ICE activity which is due on the 16th, or was due on the 16th. So they were submitting there, and I've got 5 notifications and 7 notifications for this. And then when you look at your module, yes, you've got, I think the most important thing is scrolling all the way down, you will see that there is a Microsoft Teams link. And maybe let me add that. Teams link. And I'm going to make that a heading as well. So in the Teams link, for instance, if you click on that link will take you to your module on Teams. So if you open Microsoft Teams, you will see there that it says here, entrepreneurship, and that's the module that I'm currently having with my students. You can see here, there's a little bit of activity that went on in my classroom. And then while we're still here, another thing that you can see is that in your calendar on Teams, if you scroll all the way down to, well, if you see, if you refer to your calendar, you can see here, for instance, my students, we've got live sessions, and these are recurring every 2 weeks. And then another thing I can show you here is that if you on Teams, the app, if you press on Teams, under classes, your modules or all your modules should be appearing there. And then, that will make things easy for you. And then going back to ARC, and let me maybe close this Teams. Let me just leave it because I don't know what I'm going to be closing. Yeah, so if you go back, let me see, we went to ARC. Yes. Then another thing is that on ARC, in your calendar, the lecturer should have said, it should be pre-populated. So your calendar should already be pre-populated on Teams. And then there's also the announcements that your lecturer would be sending you, which are on the right of the pane. And then again, with every learning unit, just make sure that you click on each tab. And once you do, the menu will appear on the left. And let me just write some of these notes that I've been talking about. So we talked about the Teams link, and then we talked about the calendar, and then we also talked about the announcements. There's also ICE activities that you need to do as students. And basically just navigating through your module. So you can see here, for instance, I've got a YouTube playlist for my students. I've given them the link to the live sessions. So yes, as much as you've got it on your calendar in Teams, and let me write here in Teams, link to live sessions. And if this is heading 2, these must also be heading 2. All right, so your calendar, your announcements, and your ICE activities will also be there in your module on ARC. And then, like I was saying, I've given them live sessions, the ICE activities, they find them in there. And then module information, and you just play around with these. Again, this module information you can find in your module outline, because it's the introduction of the module, the prescribed workbook that you use, the module overview, and the PACER, and then lecturer resources. So these depend on what your lecturer is trying to share with you. And you also have more resources or lecturer resources per learning unit. So here it's just a matter of clicking around and playing around with this, with your module on ARC, just to find all of the information. And then if anything you need to talk to your lecturer, you can always email your lecturer from ARC. So let me say email your lecturer. And again, this would be heading 2. And then I think that's it for your module on ARC. So let's go ahead and close this. I'm going to close this and I'm going to close that, and then we go back to your VC student portal. Another thing that's important here is VC Assist. VC Assist is basically where you go for any student queries. You know, like if you have any issues and maybe you're a I don't know, a contact student, you would go to the office, to the receptionist or something, and you would say, hi, I've got a problem with my modules, I've got a problem with finance, I've got a problem with anything, any student queries, or let me say any problem that need solving. So in other words, and these would be non-module content issues. So for instance, if you've got an issue with, learning unit 1, ma'am, I don't understand, for that you will need to reach out to your lecturer. But for VCS, this is anything that's administratively related. So administrative related issues, you would go to VC Assist for that. So please, guys, if this is so important, because as a student, you always feel like you need help. So again, let me just show you what it looks like. If you click on VC Assist, it shows you the campus queries. And here you can see a lot of, things that you need or can request. For instance, if you need credits for your modules, if you need to add or drop modules, if you need your report, you've got an assessment queries, cancellations, registration, counseling, exam center, finance query, graduation, anything that you need, please ensure, and your lecturer query, anything that you need, just make sure that you read all of these tabs. And then if I can just show you, you can also click back to main campus queries. And then there's also the student hub. Now the student hub is important because if you want to make an appeal, a request, a remark, or apply for a credit, anything that's assessment based, you would click on the student hub. So I think while we're under VC Assist, I can also say student hub, and that would be assessment queries. So maybe you miss an assessment because you are sick, I don't know, you're traveling and you can't go write your assessment. I don't know, whatever the issues is. I do know that, for instance, they only allow for emergencies, like a work situation, for instance, is not an emergency. It's just, a typical thing that happens that you should have pre-planned. So just ensure that you, you inform yourself about the different assessment policies that we've got. Again, closing this page, we're going to look again and see what else is relevant. Microsoft Office is another one, because if you then have access to Word, Microsoft Office, and here you can access your email, and then you can access things like Word, PowerPoint, etc. All right. And then, yes, as a student, if I can just maybe emphasize with the email, ensure that you check your emails daily. This is the platform that VC will use to communicate with you. So VC communicates with you via your VC email. Please, I know you've got a Gmail somewhere that you use. However, VC, like if we are Varsity College and we're trying to contact you as a student, we'll use your Varsity College email. Similar to where you work at your workplace, they normally will set up an email for you. And if your manager needs to talk to you, they will send your email and communication via your work email. It is the same with VC email. So please make sure that you check it daily, so that if you don't, if you check it after like a week, for instance, there are going to be so many emails and it's going to be hard for you to stay in track with that. So please just make sure that you check your emails daily. And then we've talked about the eShelf. And then with regards to Wise Books, that's where your books would be, you would find your books. And if I'm looking at everything here, it looks like I've covered everything. Maybe the one thing that I need to also cover is your policies. policies. And with the policies, yeah, this one is a little bit of a stickler because there is a lot of reading that you need to do. And if we just look at these different policies that are important, I would say for you that the policies that you need to know is assessment and strategy policy. So let's copy this one down. So make sure that you know this one, because remember, this is the one that is important for your what is it? This is the one that's important for your assessments. It's important that you know what's going on in your assessments. And then also this one, the assessment criteria and minimum standards. Between these two, it's important, especially because students normally have to submit assessments, etc. And if you know these, you will then be protecting yourself. If I can make mention of one, it's that as a student, you need to ensure that you submit by the due date. If you submit a day later, you will get minus 15%. And then if you submit, more than a day later, it will be a mark of 0. So understanding these policies is very important for you as a student. And then, I think that is all that I can cover for this video. I hope that it is a good way for you to start. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to set up a link to a survey. So please complete the survey just to let me know if this video was helpful for you or not. This survey link will be in the YouTube. I'm going to upload this recording on YouTube, and then under the description, you will see the link to the survey. And this link is just about feedback on whether this video was helpful to you or not. I wish you all the best for all your studies. Thank you so much for watching this. Bye-bye.